afternoon, all. Good afternoon to all participants, and welcome to this event, the celebration of World Equality Day, that is today, 9th November 2023. And as a series, we jointly, MSCC, that is Management System Consultant Consortium, and CCC, Chennai Consultant Consortium, we are jointly organizing this November month series, World Equality Month series. So as a series of topic, this is the third event, third webinar, and today's topic is responsible assurance practices and responsible regulations in this competitive age. So I will just brief you about MSCC, what MSCC is, and what we are doing. So we are a management system consultant consortium. We are promoting various management system to elevate standards, excellence, quality of services, free flow of information, and the value addition. And we are a registered society at a national level to cater across all sectors and domains with a desire to bring about change in the conformity assessment industry, certification industry. And we are voice from the ground levels to multifaceted platforms, as I have said, to elevate the standards, elevate the quality of services, to have the information free flow across the supply chain, starting from customer, consultant, conformity assessment body, accreditation body, and till the various government stakeholders. And as a consortium, we are a mix of people from various diverse backgrounds: IT, marketing, finance, costing, technical, engineering consultants, strategies, and other allied consultants under the one common roof, under one common platform. And see, this platform also enables the learning opportunity for various MS consultants across from all the states in India. And this all the education series, learning series will be available in our social media handle after once these events are over. Now I will just brief about myself, and then I will share the objective of today's session. So myself, Ankit K. Patel, and I'm the founder of Gyani Consulting Services. By education, I'm mechanical engineer from Sardar Patel University. And during my work experience in the industry, I have privileged to work with companies like Tufsut, the certification agency, Morgan Advanced Material, it's a British organization having multiple businesses, Anupam Industries Limited, and the Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. And I am qualified lead auditor for various ISO standards called 9001, 21000 for education, ISO 14001, ISO 27001, ISO 50001, ISO 1406 for that is for carbon footprint, ISO 56002 that is for innovation management, ISO 20121 that is for sustainable event management, and EN 15267 that is for continuous emission monitoring system. And I am lead tutor for various ISO standards as well as CQI standards. I had helped various customers like Apollo Tires, Larsen and Toubro, Gas Authority of India Limited, ONGC, Ether Electric, and Lab Cables, to name a few. I am certified Six Sigma implementer, and during my auditing career, I have experience of auditing more than 750 mandates of assessments. And as an organization, at present, we have completed more than 300 consulting projects. So the today's session is about responsible regulations and the responsible assurance practices. So now I would request Mahir ji to share a brief about himself and CCC, the other stakeholder for today's event, and then we jointly discuss about the today's agenda. Mahir ji, over to you.
Thank you, Ankit ji. Yeah. Yeah. So, good afternoon, all panelists and Mr. Ankit, Arti, and other members who have joined in this session. My name is Mahir Abbas. Uh, Basically, I'm a mechanical engineer and MSc in TQM, and having around 25 years of experience in the field of laboratory management, operation excellence, laboratory accreditation in testing, calibration, process improvement, auditing, training in various fields of mainly in enable and some little bit experience. I'm also having ISO 9001 also, and I have also being a part of the team where we implemented the AFQM, Kaizen, 7QC tools, and I'm also Lean Six Sigma certified certified green belt, also been the assessor for the NABL at their panel. But since I have joined this consultancy firm and started this thing, so I have left that thing, and I'm presently working as a freelancer and founder of the MS Technical Services LLP company, and also the life member of the Metrology Society of India and certified auditor for ISO 9001 since 2006, and provided consultancy to 40 plus companies, large, medium, and small companies, and uh, conducted 100 plus audits and trainings in this topic on the subjects of laboratory management system, ISO 9001, operation excellence, and process improvement as well. Now, regarding this, if I talk about the uh, uh, today's session, this thing, just a minute. Today's session, if I talk about basically, uh, we are assembled here to celebrate the November Quality Month as a part of the quality theme of the year 2003, which and the world over the theme is realizing your competitive potential. So we are discussing on that subject to take it further to for the fraternity of the laboratory accreditations and regulatory and quality assurance practices. Basically, this is an annual knowledge festival on the quality management system to help to industry and the users to unleash their potential in the terms of quality. For this, it is the annual festival which is celebrated by the CCC, which is Chennai Consultant Consortium with the MSCC. We are both together celebrating this quality month. Now, if I talk about the consultant consortium of the Chennai, CC is an association of the management system consultant registered under the Tamil Nadu Society of Registration Act. And the key objective of CCC is to work in the alignment with the national quality mission launched by the government of India by educating the industry, the role and the importance of the standard, certification and regulation in the industry, as well as in the global market. Now, CCC always strives to encourage responsible consulting through members of its association, and focus is to standardize consulting practices in alignment with the changing market of the industry needs in a dynamic manner. The focus is also to identify areas and areas and industry in which the consultant in the profession of the management system consulting can contribute to the betterment of the society and the country, and to promote management system consulting in which areas of the in almost area all the areas of the industry. One of the core objective is to collaborate with various industry platform, trade association, chambers of commerce, management association, apex bodies, government bodies, organization to contribute the betterment of the industry initiatives, which in turns they contribute to the betterment of the society. Now, this quality month celebration is, though it's annually we are celebrating, this is the third session of this month. Previously, we have done for the 2nd of the November, then 7th November, today is the 9th November, is the third session. And objective of this third session is basically to global focus on the quality and safety, which has shifted to address the ongoing problem statement, trust deficit. I think you may agree with me. The trust deficit on the quality and safety of the certifications and various other testing and inspection report issued by the industry. There is sometimes some news are comes in that way. So, in other words, assurance reporting in coming under lot of scrutiny. when products fail on quality, safety, and performance grounds, what comes under the first are the three certificates submitted by the businesses. Regulations claims globally that they rely on the assurance certificate issued by the conformity assessment bodies. A conversation is created today to address responsible regulations and responsible conformity assessment certification to address some key gaps, challenges that prevail in the conformity assessment space. This program is to uh, designed to bring a convergence in the conversation by roping all the stakeholders who are responsible for the assurance on the quality and safety of the products. So this was just a brief about the context of the program that I have just given. Now over to Dr. Dr. B.K. Rana. So will initiate the this talk. Before that, I'd like to ask Aarti, can you please share his profile, please? Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so, yeah, all these, Dr. B.K. Rana is the CEO of the Quality and Accreditation Institute, named as QAI in short. Former director and CEO in charge of the NIBH, and which is the constant board of the QCI, board member of International Society for Telemedicine and E-Health, former board member of the ISQA and chairman of the Accreditation Council, former president of ASQA. He is also the founding members Scientific Advisory Board, International Alliance of the Patients Organization IAPO, chairman of the Documentation Review Committee and member of Complaints and Appeals Committee of the National GLP Compliance Monitoring Authority DST, Government of India. He is also the member of the Technical Committee of Ayurveda Training Accreditation Board, which comes under the Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. He is also the team leader for ISQA EEA International Accreditation Program and international consultant expert for the WHO, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, ISQA, and UNFCCC. I think he's nothing to, maybe these are the only bullet points. Maybe he is having the more than this. So over to you, Mr. Rana, please.
Thanks. Thanks,
Yeah.
Mahir. Thank you very much for your kind introduction. Thanks, CCC. Thanks, MCCC, Ankit, Rama, for giving me this opportunity to talk to the people gathered here today. And congratulations to every quality professional, not only India, around the world, to celebrate Quality Month, which is November. Every year we celebrate to respect quality practices by individuals and organizations and promoting practices based on quality. So thank you again. And I think the topic which is taken up is like responsible assurance, responsible regulation, and so on and so forth. I'm a student for that matter. I'm just trying to learn. I would like to share some of our experience as an accreditation body. And my experience goes back to 25 years. I think I started in quality when I started my PhD in 1992 in biochemistry. So quality started from me. In fact, even before, during my doctorate, when we talk about the research topics, and we ensure is there quality in the research data which we produce, which can be accepted by a journal where you want to publish. So quality is everywhere, but in the conformity assessment body, my journey started in the year 2000 when I joined NABL as one of the 8 officers at that time, and then moved to NABH and then QAI. So we, as an accreditation body, uh, looks at different angles of conformity assessment. When we talk about responsible assurance, so there are two words, responsibility and assurance. So what are the responsibilities on an AB, and what are the assurance can AB give to its customers, its clients, which are directly with conformity assessment bodies? For that method, testing labs, calibration labs, medical labs, biobanks, inspection bodies, PT provider, RMP producers. These are the programs which we are offering at the moment, and many other accreditation bodies alike. And the second thing is about how you assure the users of the services of CAPS. So as an accreditation body, we don't just restrict, and we don't just think that our responsibility ends when we grant or deny accreditation to a CAP. But we believe that our responsibilities really goes beyond to the users of these accredited caps, because there can be many users, direct, indirect. Say for food testing lab, the consumer itself can be a direct a citizen, can be a direct consumer, but there may be manufacturers also can be the users of those laboratories. Regulators can also be the users. So there are a lot of stakeholders around this ecosystem of conformity assessment per se. So conformity assessment include ABs, CABs, CBs in certification system, and the users across. So when we say the responsible assurance, how we try to adhere to responsible assurances in terms of the process, policies, the procedures which we use uh, to accredit a CAP, for example. And so the accreditation process itself is designed in a manner that it gives confidence not only to us as an accreditation body that yes, we use this process, which gives good results. And good result does not mean that what result I like. Good results means which is based on credible information coming from the assessment part. When there is an assessment conducted of a CAP, of course, it's result into a report, assessment report. So the entire value of accreditation is based on this assessment report. Because based on that assessment report, an accreditation body makes a decision about accreditation, grant or otherwise. So when we talk about assessment report, it just looks a part like it's a document, but it's just not a document. It's really a complete framework of the process, which the end results going to be accreditation or not. Now, when we talk about this, the result of the assessment, which is an assessment report, credibility comes in, and in conformity assessment, we talk about quality and competence. And that's why it is different from simple certification, like quality management system certification like 9001. It's quality plus competence. So this report, the assessment report, should have both the competence as well as the quality. So so quality through quality management system requirements, and the competence through the competence mechanism, which usually comes through review of records, review of documents, and also witnessing of conformance of some task, witnessing of test, witnessing of calibration, talking to the people, whether they are skilled, whether they have knowledge about the principles of a test or a calibration or inspection for that matter, or for whatever type of conformity assessment business these caps are. So the credibility, the whole process lies with that. That's the first step. Now, if we assume that yes, it is credible because we have checkpoints for reviewing the report once we get it, whether it is complete, whether it contains all the needed requirements, which they should be there. Is it accurate in terms of what we define as a policy should have it? The second part is how to use this report to make the decision about accreditation of a CAP. Now, so decision-making process, again, built on sound principles of assurances, sound principles of impartiality, sound principles of competence, sound principles of auditing principles. So the people who look at these reports should also be not less than competent than what have been on the ground as assessors. So that's one thing. Second thing is the process itself, how it is done is a part of reviewing technicalities, reviewing the process which is followed, reviewing the sufficiency of information given in the report, whether that report conveys that yes, I can rely on this report to say this laboratory or this conformity assessment body has the capability to carry out this calibration or this test or this conformity assessment activity. Now, when we talk about this process of generating a report and making a decision based on that, there are one person who is common, is the expert who is going to do that. Whether it's an assessor in going to the laboratory, or whether an expert or a committee member or a reviewing the report. Now, there is a very critical aspect of maintaining COI, conflict of interest, to give unbiased results, unbiased reports. Because if report is biased, obviously decision would be affected by that. Now, when we send as an AB to a CAB as an assessor, we make sure there is no conflict of interest. See, we cannot guarantee, but we have checks and balances that, okay, we ask, oh, we are going to send you to this lab. Do you have any conflict? And we define what conflict means. Do you have direct relation? Do you have a relative? Do you have a friend? Do you have a business relation? Do you have a stakeholder relationship? We have defined what that means. And if the person say, no, I don't have any conflict, fine, thank you. Now we go back to the CAB and say, look, I'm going to send this person to your lab. Do you have any conflict? And they say no. When vote says no, we proceed. However, this is my thinking. This may not guarantee that there is absolute conflict of interest avoided. Maybe the assessor lied. Maybe the CAB lied. They may know each other well. There is a possibility. And that is the risk. And that is what we say, how to mitigate this risk. So risk-based thinking, risk-based approach, which is now taking shape, in most of the standard being published now. Now this corrective action, preventive action is being replaced by risk management. This takes care of all these CAs, PAs and everything, So we do risk analysis that if this happens, what is going to happen? So to mitigate that, we have a feedback system. And feedback is just not limited to few, it's 360. And when it says 360 degree, it means peer review means assessor to assessor's feedback, the feedback from CAB, feedback from the reviewers or committee members, feedback from staff, and feedback for any other stakeholder if somebody has the feedback. Okay, so at least this tries to mitigate some of the risk. However, sometimes questions raised. No, people are working in this laboratory. You are sending to this laboratory. This person going to this laboratory may not like to displease this lab because they may have a business relation at the company level. Or they think maybe tomorrow somebody from this lab can come back to my lab, right? There is a possibility. There is a possibility. But still, there is a cross checks. There is a balances on that. We try to maintain those things. See, it can't be completely avoided. Can't be avoided that we should not send someone from one lab to another lab. It has to happen. Somebody needs to be working in a testing laboratory. Maybe what can be a government lab can go to the private lab. Private lab can go to the government lab. That's one aspect. But still, that cannot negate. So there is a room for some COIs, which we as an AB has to look at from time to time, review it and make sure that doesn't happen, right? But at the end of the day, this is the responsibility of everyone around in this ecosystem. It's not just AB, CABs. The assessors attached to us as a AB or a CB auditors for that matter, and the users of those services. For example, I'm giving you one example which is live, which has happened, and this may be happening around the world, not only India. A testing lab uses the services of a calibration laboratory for getting their equipment calibrated, right? Whether directly calibrated or at least the master calibrated, and then they can do the in-house calibration of their own equipment. Second thing, use of reference materials, use of certified reference materials, right? So at least these are the two things which I can get references of, that when the lab uses a CRM or when they use a calibration certificate from a lab, how to check the validity, how to check the authenticity of that calibration certificate or this CRM certificate. You go as an assessor, you find nice piece of paper, which is a calibration certificate coming from an accredited laboratory with nice logo of the AB, with nice logo of maybe APAC or ILAC. And you say, oh, this lab is accredited by this AB, which is having MRA with APAC or ILAC. And you straightforward say, fantastic, correct? Most of the time. Same thing with the CRM. Oh, firmware, you Merck, Eldridge, Sigma, NIST, or maybe many other CRM producer, RMP producers. You look at the brand or look at AB's logo and MRA, and you say, fantastic. Is this sufficient? It may not. It may not be, because we burnt our hands in that. We find a lab using a certificate from a lab, calibration lab, which is not issued by the lab. What does it mean? You understand what I'm saying. And same thing for the reference material. So how as AB should make sure that whatever documents are being produced by CAB are authenticated and that is checked by our assessors. I think there's a need to build a mechanism. See, whatever you talk about reference number, you talk about URL number, you talk about whatever. If somebody want to make copy, they can put any number with that name. Precise, fantastic, this. But that reference number or CRL number, URL number, unique ID may not be working unless we go back and check the origin using that URL, CRL, or UHID, right? We have to have that mechanism, and I think that incidence even force us to be talking to other ABs, for example, NABL exists here, FDS exists here, all three are ILAC MRA, and to make efforts together to avoid such thing, because this is something would result into a disaster in time to come for everyone. It's not just one AB. If it is happening in one case, I'm sure it may be happening in multiple cases also, right? So I think that's how it's not how to make a system so much robust that each point, starting from AB, and I will go even beyond to our MRA awardees like APAC and ILAC. They also have policies. ABs have policies. CAPs have policies. Regulators have. So where we need to plug all these gaps, if there are existing, to make sure the authenticity is guaranteed, right? I'm not interested to know what the result would be, whether it's going to get accredited or not. That's not the end point. End point is reaching there is based on guaranteed assurances, to the customer that yes, my assessor come back happily and say, oh, fantastic, there are few NCs, but everything is fine. But I say, I don't care if you have 1,000 NCs, but everything rest is fine. I'm not happy when there is no NC and everything is gone wrong. That's the big problem. Rather than having multiple NCs and or thinking otherwise. So that loop, I think, is most important. And I think we need support as an AB from CAPs, from associations, from experts to get the feedback. Feedback, people goes around, they know the practices. And think about it, that how we can really make a more robust system to offer to our service providers, which are the users, whether it's a test lab, cal lab, or anything. So I think I rest my case at the moment with the statement that as an accreditation body, we trying to fill these gaps through the policies which we have, but still we are open for any suggestions, feedback from any stakeholder to give us to improve our system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rana sir, for enlightening us about your experience regarding this responsible assurance practices. And what my key takeaway is, nowadays users are asking not just about assurance, but now they are asking about guaranteed assurance that whatever they are buying, it should be guaranteed that the whatever manufacturer or the service provider is claiming, the CAB and AB have robust systems so that the benefits and the ultimate intent of the user for buying that product or that service must fulfill.
Absolutely. And that will happen when the reverse engineering starts.
Yes.
When a product guaranteed by the manufacturer based on, say, IS or something, tested in a lab and consumers say it's not compliant to your requirements, it fails. So it should go to back. Who tested it? Based on which the manufacturer claiming, giving the guarantee to the consumer. Okay. And so they have to go back. And then maybe the lab has to go back or something. So it's whole reverse engineering that this happened that way.
Yes. And see, to ensure all this, every stakeholder in conformity domain will have to play their role so that user can have the guaranteed assurance. So thank you so much, Rana sir. Now we will move ahead with the second speaker, Mr. Satish Kumar Gupta. So I will introduce brief about Mr. Satish ji and I will hand over to Satish ji.
अंकित जी, ये एम सिंह जी आए हैं. जस्ट वी शुड welcome Mr. Ankit. Mr. AM Singh has joined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for being late. Actually, I was missing some other meeting. So I'm just hearing from Mr. Rana. I'm just heard. So go ahead with your agenda. No problem. I'm very much here now, all along through the meeting.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Satish is the DGM and Food Scheme Manager at IRECTAS, the Indian Register of Quality Services. And Mr. Satish has over 20 years of experience, including a decade dedicated to management system certification, auditing, training, and the accreditation management. And he is actively involved in the standard formation committee called ISO TC 34 SC17 and plays a crucial role in advisory group and working group for the communication on the ISO 22000, that is for food safety management system family of standards. And he is also engaged in the work of FAD 15 in BIS and serves as a secretary. So I will now over to you, Mr. Satish Gupta.
Thank you, Mr. Ankit, for the introduction. I'll just share my screen. Just give me a moment. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. And it's my pleasure to speak on this topic, a very crucial topic, a new topic, a unique topic, I can say, on the responsible regulations and the responsible assurance practice, the time for the voluntary disclosures on this World Quality Day, which is celebrated today. And I thank Management System Consultant Consortium as well as the Chennai Consultant Consortium for giving this platform to ACBI, that is Association of Certification Bodies of India, to speak on this topic. The agenda of the few minutes which we will be taking ahead with this topic is the introduction. The next is about the role of the CABs, as Mr. Dr. Rana was talking about, that the ABs, the conformity assessment bodies, plays a role. So we will see about what is the role of the conformity assessment bodies. What is this responsible regulations and the responsible assurance practices? Voluntary disclosures, what are the challenges and the considerations which
Dr.
we have?
Sorry, Dr. If you can change your slide, please, that would be better.
Is it not in the slide mode?
No, it is the first slide it is showing.
Just give me a moment. You can see my slide, right?
Yes, we can see your first slide.
Yeah, only first slide. It is not being changed actually. That's why I request to change the slide also. Because you are operating.
I had changed it, but just give me a
No,
moment.
Acha. It is the first one. It is this only
Actually,
your name and the theme is shown.
Okay, just give me a moment. Now the second slide, the agenda. No, not yet. Not yet.
You can do one thing. You can unshare and reshare again.
Yeah, now it has
second
come.
slide.
It has come now, Dr. Gupta.
Just a moment. Now, is it the first slide? I'm sorry, it is just
No,
going.
this is the second one now. Now we have come to the second one.
Okay. And now what do you see?
Second slide only.
Okay, so that means the slides are not moving. But it is moving from my side, but I think it is not getting. I'll just stop sharing and I'll share it again. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, please.
Now you can see the first slide, I suppose, right?
Yes,
Yes,
correct.
Yes. And what about now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, second one.
Second slide?
Yes.
Yes. Now it's
Perfect.
moving.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks. So, sorry for the disruption. There's the points which we have discussing about. The next point is on the challenges and the considerations and the key takeaways. And finally, the Q&A as discussed, it will be taken at the last. Just I take the opportunity to introduce about ACBI, the Association for the Certification Body in India, which was formed in 1997 and registered under the Mumbai Public Trust. There are 7 founder members, of which Mr. Shashinath Mishra is the chairperson of the ACBI. He's representing from IR class. And the objective of this association is to formulate as well as to practice the efficient and the ethical practices by promoting consistent quality, uniformity in the high standards of the by the independent certification. Coming to the conformity assessment bodies, when we talk about conformity assessment bodies, who are these? These conformity assessment bodies are the organizations or the entities who are responsible for evaluating, verifying, certifying that the products, services, systems conform to the established standards, whichever standards we take it, the regulations, as well as the specifications. They play a very vital role in ensuring that the product and services meet the specific, the quality, as well as the safety criteria, and they operate across various industries, including the manufacturing, whether it is healthcare, food, automotive, environmental, and many more to say. They are the independent entities, and this is very important, as Dr. Rana was also saying, that the impartial assessment, that means the assessment is carried out impartially to verify whether the compliance is assuring both the businesses as well as the consumers that the product and the services meet the required standards. Now, what is the role of the conformity assessment bodies? They are into the testing and inspections, certification, validation, if there and verification to check if there is any claims done by the organizations, auditing, as well as the compliance assessment. Now, how these CABs or the conformity assessment bodies are important in ensuring the importance of or check the regulations or the assurance in the various industries. So when we talk about safety, in terms of the food safety or the automotive, or it could be where the human lives is at the stake. So that the safety becomes very important, and the CABs, they play a very important role in ensuring or checking in terms of the compliance or the regulations. When we talk about the quality, it could be the quality in terms of the services or the product which has been given by the organizations, or the environmental protection in this world of this where everyone is very environmental conscious. The environmental like the wastage, or in terms of emissions, or the sustainable aspects, the environmental protection, the checking on the environmental aspects, and all these bringing about the consumer trust. That is very, very important, that when we look into from the cab, that, for an organization, whether these people are, following the correct practices, whether the regulations have been followed, and how it is trustworthy. That is becomes important, and overall it helps in the international trade. Now, what is the role of this compliance and the assurance when we talk about whether it is ensuring the regulatory compliance or enhancing the quality and the safety of the product or the services, fostering the fair competition, it is not getting biased, or there is an impartial assessment done, or they are declaring it correctly, or the reports have been generated properly, supporting innovation, encouraging people to do research and development for the safety as well as for the quality aspects, and finally building the public trust. Now, what is this? There are two key words in this session when we talk about the responsible regulations or the responsible, uh, assurance practices. Now, what is these responsible regulations? When we say a responsible regulations, it refers to a set of rules or the laws, the guidelines which has been created, enforced by the governmental bodies or the industry associations with the aim to achieve social, economic, environmental, and the safety objectives. And when we say responsible, they are coming into the picture when they are designed or implemented in a manner that balances the needs of the various stakeholders, whether it is including the businesses, consumers, as well as the environment. Now, when we talk about the responsible regulations, and this is one thing which is very important as a conformity assessment bodies, also we expect that if you see that even the ISO standards or any management system standards, they also have an aspect or a check to see whether the organization is following the statutory and the regulatory requirements. So that is very, very important from the conformity assessment bodies as well to verify this. No doubt, we are not able to, during our management system audit, we are not able to see it completely. But yes, we do check that whether these are being practiced or these are being taken into considerations when they are making or manufacturing or they have their products or their services which they are catering to. So when we talk about these responsible regulations, there should be a sense of, there is always a transparency, because these regulations are based on the transparent or the public engagement. That means it should be user friendly, and therefore these regulations are made. Balancing interest of the different stakeholders, adaptability, because it should be flexible. It should be based on the current practices. It should not be an outdated regulation. And overall, the very important aspect is it should be on the risk based. Like if you see any of these regulations which are made, they are based on the risk associated with it. So considering all these regulations, it becomes very vital, very important, or very pertinent for the organizations that they follow these regulations correctly, and the updated one. That is very, very important. Now, how are these regulations going to bring about a responsible assurance practices? And when we talk about an assurance practices, it is the processes or the methodologies, activities that the organizations can implement to ensure that they meet the regulatory requirements or the industry standards, uh, so as to fulfill their ethical as well as societal responsibilities. So this is very important, that what methods they are using it. So they are also ensuring that they are complying to the regulatory requirements, because sometimes we see that organizations are there, but they are not in line with the regulatory requirements, or they're not aware of the regulatory requirements. Maybe it is the social compliance, it is occupational, environmental, though these are available, but then also they are not, or in terms of the food safety, they are available, but they are not aware of these, the regulatory requirements. So how are they ensuring that the assurance, or they are building up a confidence in terms of the product and the services, in terms of the safety or the quality of the product of these services. So the key elements in terms of when we talk about the assurance practices is the compliance monitoring. The organization should look into that they have a proper, checks in terms of the regulatory requirements, whether they are monitoring the regulatory requirements periodically in their own system. Maybe it could be through the internal audits, it could be through the performance evaluations, it could be through an external agency. But how are they ensuring that these compliance or the regulatory requirements are being monitored? Now, whatever they are monitoring it, that is very important that it has to be in an ethical behavior, not to have, okay, this is fine and maybe this could be left out, or, okay, I'm following 99% compliance. But when we are talking about a compliance or a regulatory requirement, it has to be 100% compliance. So how are they doing it in an ethical behavior? How are they reporting it transparently? And how are they taking these gaps? If there are certain gaps or they have a findings, how are they taking it for their continuous improvement to take it to the next level in their organization? So that is very important when we talk about the assurance practices for for the responsible regulation. Now, what is the significance of these responsible regulations and the practices? As we see, it's not only for the organization, but it is for all the stakeholders, whether it is the regulators, whether it is the caps in terms of or the consumers or the customers or the society. It is for the well-being of the society. It brings about the good, the business integrity. That is, the confidence has been taken into consideration, or that brings about confidence level goes up. In terms of the environment is sustainability. Legal compliance is there in place, and therefore this gives a competitive advantage to the organization to stand out from the other organization in terms of if they are responsible towards these regulations and these assurance practices. Now, when we come to the voluntary disclosures, now this is something a very important topic which could lead to a lot of discussions as well. This voluntary disclosures, what are these voluntary disclosures? When we talk about the voluntary disclosures, it refers to the proactive act, the step of an organization or an entity sharing information, reports, or data with various stakeholders, regulatory bodies, or the public without being legally obligated to do so. That is very important. And these disclosures go beyond what is legally required or are made willingly to promote transparency, openness, as well as to show that they are accountable for these disclosures. So now this could be done through either information, where they are sharing this information about their the operations, performance, the compliance efforts, or the ethical practices. But all this is done voluntary, and therefore the name itself says that it's a voluntary disclosure. Or it could be through a two-way communication, where the stakeholder engagement is there, where it includes the customers or the investors or the employees, regulatory bodies, and the public. Now, when we talk about these voluntary disclosures, sometimes we, as a CAB, like as a conformity assessment body, we always say that whatever they do it, when they seek a certification, it's a voluntary certification. It's a voluntary certification, and if it is a voluntary certification, they should see that there is a voluntary disclosure, whether it is in terms of the legal proceedings, whether it's a good practice, whether it is in terms of any recall which has happened, the product recall which has happened, or is there any issues or incidents which has happened in the organization. They should have a voluntary disclosure for all these aspects, so that when we do a conformity assessment, this goes very smooth and we are able to give value addition to the organization. So that becomes very, very important in terms of how are they adhering or whether they are complying to the regulatory requirements, how are they ensuring that the good practices are taken into consideration, as well as they voluntarily disclose, so that we do our assessments correctly with the proper value addition. So what could be the benefits out of it? As I was talking about it, that yes, this could lead to a good, the transparency between the organizations as well as the CABs, because I'm more talking from the certification bodies or the conformity assessments bodies. That yes, where it leads to an effective communication, there could be no negative speculation that could be mitigated. It brings about a good credibility in terms of the public trust, confidence in the certification. Yes, they are doing it. this could be anything, maybe a negative disclosure, maybe if there is any negative impact, or it could be a good practice in terms of, something positive they are doing it. There are something good practices which they are doing it in terms of the regulatory requirements. So this can build up a positive reputation in the market, as well as giving a confidence. Obviously, if they do, they will be different from the others, which will attract the ethical businesses, as well as they give a competitive advantage. And finally, is the regulatory compliance will have a positive relations with the regulators. It will mitigate the legal risk, like what has been what the regulators will come and find out in terms of the non-compliances. It will be there are voluntary disclosures, so that will help them to have a good relationship with the regulators. And in terms of the reduced and hence it will help the organizations to have a reduced regulatory scrutiny. But yes, though there are benefits, there are challenges as well. When we talk about the voluntary disclosures, it could be if you talk about a cab, like, when we are disclosing it, it could be the confidential data, which becomes a concern, because we are bound by the confidentiality agreement, or a data privacy in terms of the compliance, whether we are supposed to talk about it to anyone. So that becomes an issue. How to bring about the transparency and the competitiveness, because there could be trade secrets, there could be some proprietary information where it becomes very difficult or challenging to disclose it. When this voluntary disclosure is done, obviously there is also a financial burden, like, in terms of the financial resources. There will be an extra cost in terms of re-auditing, or in terms of investigating, or making the report, in terms of the human resources or the technical resources, auditing as well as verification. So there are resource constraints as well. And obviously, all this brings about to a reputation risk. So how to go about with these? If there are voluntary disclosures in terms of the negative impacts, then there could be a negative reputation at risk, or reputation at stake, maybe in terms of the regulatory compliance, and maybe it could hamper the overall businesses, as well as the reputation of the organization. And therefore, as we if we have to conclude this, the importance of the responsible regulations and the voluntary disclosures, it's very important. It's time that we do that disclosure in terms of the enhanced, for the trust and the reputation, to bring about a competitive edge, or the client and the stakeholder confidence, or for the sustainable growth. I just want to have the last slide as a takeaway from here, that if an organization wants to have a proper regulatory requirements, as I was talking about it, that this is a challenge, or the common scene which has been found, they are not updated with the current regulatory requirements. So they should see that they are abreast with the current regulatory requirements, so that they can ensure that they are complying with the current because these regulatory requirements sometimes are very dynamic, so they keeps on changing. So if they are not abreast with this, they might not be meeting the regulatory requirements, and therefore the consequences, the repercussions. They should, and this could happen only by visiting the website regularly, so that they know what is happening, or what is the change which has happened. Routine regulatory inspection, in fact, they can themselves form a practice where these regulations they can take into consideration, and then they can have an inspection, so that they know where they stand and how to go about it, and what could be the gaps, and how to take it to the next level. And enhance the competence, maybe through attending such sessions, or webinars or seminars, or any training related to the regulatory compliance, and to see that what best practices they can adopt for. And as we were just talking about the time for the voluntary disclosures, if you see in some of the scheme owners, like the scheme owners, or even the management system standard, it has been told that if there is an incident happening, the organization needs to inform to the conformity assessment bodies, and which we in turn has to inform so that appropriate steps can be taken in terms of the change or in terms of the incidents which has been happening in the organization. So it is time for the voluntary disclosures as well. So that's in short from my side. I thanks everyone for your attention. And before I take this or hand over to Ankit or to the consortium, I wish you a Shubh Deepavali to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I will share just one incident which recently has happened in India and how this voluntary disclosure thing is coming into place. So one of the good pharma company has undergone the US FDA audit. Now, as per the SEBI guidelines, they have to communicate whatever findings there with the regulator. So now what regulators are doing, SEBI has taken that information from US FDA portal and then SEBI has given the notice to that manufacturer. So if organizations will not voluntarily disclose the information, now regulators are also very much active. They can get the information.
Yes, that's correct. That's right. And therefore, if you see, as you rightly said, that some scheme owners, they are very, very, they want this and they have put it in their requirement as well, that the organization needs to disclose this. And as a CB, we need to check whether they have disclosed it, if anything has happened in the organization.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, Satishji, I really thank and appreciate the way you touch the points, which is the agenda of this seminar, today's activity. You touched all these things very nicely, but just one thing, last point, I like to just touch upon that thing, the voluntary disclosure. You said is a need of the present situation, but still there are so many benefits are there. And a little bit some challenges are there, but and organizations are hiding themselves from the challenges, which is maybe the time has come up. They should come out from that. This is my takeaway from your side. You also agree, though you have registered this. One side you are saying the benefits is the reputation. Another side you are also saying the risk is reputation is also at the risk in the voluntary disclosures.
Both the sides are there. Both the sides are there.
But positive aspect will be more credential. Your credentiality will definitely be improved in the eyes of the.
Yes, the trust.
If Maruti recalls certain vehicles, it doesn't mean their reputation is going down.
Yes, that's right.
Their reputation going up. They are also thinking in that way. They are recalling the things.
Perfect.
And not because they are replacing all those things.
Perfect. I agree to that. Yes.
Even the certain things that the cough syrups are failing in the overseas, something is happening.
Yes.
This is the agenda is quality assurance. If they could have been having the good quality assurance practices, such thing would have not be there.
Perfect. You're right. That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Now, thank you once again. And now, next, I like to go to Aim Singh ji. Then hope we are okay, Aim Singh ji, for the next session, because Mr. Rajdeshwal is, because of some emergency, he asked for some time to be there. So I'd like to request Aim Singh ji, if he's available, comfortable, we can start.
Definitely, I'm comfortable. I mean, it's good for me also to start it. No problem.
Correct. Okay, Aarti, can you please share a profile of Aim Singh ji so that I can introduce him to the audience and the other speakers? Yeah. Okay. So Aim Singh ji is he is very well-known person in this field. He is Director General Network for Certification and Conservation of Forest, NCCF, and Project Director of USAID TOFI program and NCCF. He is a retired Indian Forest Officer, IFS, officer of the 1986 batch from the Assam segment of the Assam Meghalaya cadre. Mr. Singh retired from the post of Principal Chief Conservator of Forest and Head of the Forest Force, HOFF, Forest Department, Government of Assam. During this illustrious service period of more than 35 years, he rendered services to many posts in center government as well as the state government. Some of them are the PCCF and HOFF. Assam Chairman, Pollution Control Board, Assam Joint Secretary to the Government of India, Ministry of DONER, then from 2013 to 16, and Inspector General of the Forest, Deputy Inspector General of the Forest, DIG, in Ministry of Environment and Forest. Climate change also is worked, and Government of India professor in the Indira Gandhi National Forest Academy, Dehradun, my God. Associate Professor in Indira Gandhi National Forest Academy, Dehradun, besides various assignments in the Assam. He had conducted more than 100 in-service courses for senior IFS officers and organized many theme-based training workshops. He had presented many papers in various contemporary issues in the Commonwealth Forestry Associations, IUFRO, ITTO, World Forestry Congress, Indian Forestry Congress, Global Bamboo Summits, and co-authored a book on forest certification published by Terry. He had also represented India in many international forums such as United Nations Forum on Forestry, FAO, World Forestry Congress, CITES, Commonwealth Forestry Association, etc. He was one of the expert members of ITTO, Yokohama, Japan, representing the SE Asia from 2011 to 13. He is also an expert in people and forest sustainable forest management and forest certification at national international level and member of the various committees. At present, he is the Director General in Network for Certification and Conservation of Forests, NCCF, a non-profit and not for a profit organization mandated for the diverse conservation activities and development of certification standard for various constituents of the natural resource base with forests, trees, outside forests, ecotourism, protected areas and wetlands, non-wood forest products, quality planning materials, biofuels and biomass, and CRRI extra. I'm very touched, Aim Singh ji. You have such a renowned person, and maybe maybe these words are, though these number of words may be more, but you deserve much more than that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for nicely describing about my professional career. But first of all, good afternoon to everyone. At the outset, I want to express my gratitude to the organizers, particularly, Mr. Ankit and you, and all other partners also for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to express my thoughts and views related to standard certification scheme as a scheme owner. Because now here my today's role is totally different, whatever you have described. I am today here as a scheme owner, and then before I will go and then try to find out that what sort of transparency and credibility is required as a scheme owner to have your scheme in the international market or the national market. Before that, I would like to just give a brief description about my organization, that is NCCF. Basically, it was a very young organization established in 2015. And we are having a group of experts, professionals, and retired foresters, basically working on a standard development of India-specific and globally benchmarked standards. So we have developed so far 11 standards. Out of 11 standards, 5 standards are already functional. In addition to that, if you talk about functional standards, we have forest management standards, we have tree outside forest management standards scheme. Both these schemes have been endorsed by PFC, that is the international body. That is for the international recognition. Then we have standard scheme for safe boats, for ecotourism, for carbon standards also. In addition to that, we have established a Carbon Registry India. That is a platform where carbon projects can be listed and can be tracked also. So in addition to that, we are developing biomass and biofuels standards also with the help of TERI. And then we are in the advanced stage of making it more functional into it. In addition to that, a couple of other standards which we are working into it, which you have just mentioned while introducing me. Coming back to the problem which we have in our own country, if you talk about, and then thinking about how best we can work about that. So if you talk about in India, how this forest certification has come into the picture, Before that, I would like to say that as a part of the government, I tried my best from 1999 till 2023 to make them convince about what is voluntary market, what is market-driven mechanism which we require as a sustainability standards. But still in the government, as a regulator, they are thinking about them. They can work as a scheme owner also. They can work as an accreditation body also, and they can work also for certification bodies also. So I don't know how conflict of interest can be restricted if they try to work in all the fields having sustainability standards. But coming back to the forest certification in our own country, it was started when the handicraft industries, I mean, I'm talking about early 2000s, then they were pushing the government that because couple of international regulations like in Europe, EUTR had come, and then in Lacey Act in US, where they were asking about the raw material which will be going to be used as a product, which will be exported to different countries, then they should be, having a legality certificate. And who will give the certificate? What will be the mechanism? There was a lot of uncertainty into it. So we went into it, and then in the meantime, whatever the two international bodies, one is FSC, which is already there, and the PFC. The FSC were having their own standards. They were having their own, approved certification bodies. And in addition to that, they have their own accreditation body also, ASI in Bonn. But PFC was another angle where they are recognizing the international national standards, and they are endorsing the national standards as per their own parameters. So what discussed in our own country, having a diversified field, because most of the things which are coming from different parts of the country having diversified forest types, then we should develop our own standards and get it endorsed to have an international recognition with PFC. So that was the whole idea about how it has been developed. And then we try to do that. Since 2010-11, we had constituted a committee. Committee had submitted the report also, where they had, clearly mentioned about that. If you will just say that in that committee, they said that India must not miss the opportunity of drawing upon certification for credibility, sustainability, and justice in the forest arena of the country, and had strongly recommended that India should have a certification scheme of its own. This report has played a role of genesis of the idea of developing forest first certification scheme in forest management. Despite all the efforts, when the handicraft industry pushed through Ministry of Commerce, then there was a notification which was issued in 2011, where they have set to develop the own indigenous standards, and then it was developed. And from 2013, when the RICH scheme was developed, asserting the legality of the raw material and source, which is now being accepted by 183 countries all over the world. So RICH credibility is as at par with other international certification scheme, whether it is PFC or FSC. So taking the clue of that, NCCF had developed two of the standards, that is forest management standards, and another standards which have been developed is Free Outside Forest Standard Scheme. Because if you just see most of the industry people, whether it is related to pulp and paper, whether it is related to plyboards and multiple boards, if it's related to furniture and handicraft, most of the products are going outside the country as it. And then having international regulations also, they require to comply with certain standards or certain regulations. So these schemes which NCCF had developed, whether it is FM or it is related to outside, both have been endorsed by PFC to have an international recognition. So what NCCF is trying to now do that. So by doing so, first thing, we are trying to develop a mechanism or the framework of certification scheme in our own country. We are trying to promote the different stakeholders, including, if you talk about industry people, that scheme owner, accreditation body or certification body, these are the three important pillars along with regulators, but there should not be any conflict of interest between these three important pillars. So another angle which we are trying to, make it more transparent is this: whenever we are developing any sort of scheme, we are following a standard development process of PFC, having a UN Agenda 21 protocol. So we are identifying different stakeholders as per the stakeholder mapping, and then trying to develop a standard development group. And from that standard development group of different sectors, we are trying to have technical working group. They are drafting some sort of standards, which is put up to the public domain for 60 days. Whatever comments we are receiving from different corners, it is again being incorporated, and then it's going for pilot testing. And after doing the pilot testing, what sort of comments or what sort of modification is required, we are doing it. Further consensus building is required, and once it is through, then we are putting through governing body to get it approved. So the whole process of this, starting from stakeholder mapping to final approval of the governing body and the notification of the standard scheme, it requires about 18 months to 24 months. And it is a totally transparent and credible agency. And in addition to that, to get it more international recognition, we are submitting to PFC, which having their own set of process to, you can say, certify or vetted. It took about 12 to 16 months for us to get our second scheme of tree outside forest to get it endorsed from them. They are having their own system. They have identified assessor who had come to our country, met all the stakeholders in person, individually, discussed about that, went to the pilot testing sites about, and after that, when the report was submitted to PFC governing council, then they have constituted a task force. The task force had given their own comments on that, which are further being rectified. And finally, a postal ballot voting of different countries, including, 55 countries they have voted. And you will be surprised and you will be happy to know that this scheme was, 55-0 totally, unanimously was endorsed by PFC of this two outside forest. And why this has been endorsed? Because most of the raw material related to these major sectors are coming from tree outside forest. Although we are knowing about forest, but forest comprise only 5% of the raw material which is being required, whether it is in pulp and paper, furniture and handicraft. So having so much raw material outside the forest without having certification or the standard scheme, it is very difficult for the small and marginal farmers. So whatever effort has been taken by NCCF is just to give them some sort of incentive, just to give them, the small and marginal farmers, some sort of premium price. This scheme was developed, which is finally endorsed with that. So by doing so, what my only point of contention is to mention here is this: how to convince the regulator that if we are having so many voluntary certification schemes in the market, the role of the government should be more of a regulator, where they should accept more and more private certification schemes or voluntary schemes, and then trying to see as per do's and don'ts of their own legal compliance. So we are now in touch with the government and then trying to discuss about that. In the meantime, how best we can have some sort of promotion and the trainings to have more auditors, to have more consultants, to have more certification bodies into these voluntary certification schemes. That is much of the main challenging task for us. So once again, that is the in brief that as a scheme owner, what NCCF is trying to do with developing these schemes. Only my request through this platform is to all, because before me, there was a person who was talking on behalf of AB, one person who was talking on behalf of CAB and the regulator. So I'm very happy with the organizer that at least you have identified the 4 important pillars when we talk about voluntary certification scheme. And then we try to find out how best we could converge together where there should not be any conflict of interest among us. With this, thank you very much for giving me opportunity to share my views and thoughts about voluntary certifications. Thank you.
Thank you, Singh Saab, for enlightening this such a maybe we are not much aware of this topic, but I hope now I know something about this forestry management and the standards available, and uh, many people who have joined there may also get got the benefit of that. Thank you very much for sharing such informative things. Now, uh, I'd like to go ahead with the Mr. Rajesh Dishwal. So, Rajesh ji, please come on the video. Hello, Rajesh ji.
Yes, sir, I am here.
Yes, yes. Rajesh ji, yeah.
Thank you, sir. First, I submit my thanks to give the opportunity to Association of Indian Laboratory uh, and the team who is organizing CCC and MSCC. It's a very nice work which we have started for the promotion of quality activity in terms of informations, knowledge sharing. Really, it's a requirement on the ground. Most of the people are knowing, but few people are not knowing about the standard relationship responsibility metrics. It is lapse. So if the people who will attend such type of program, definitely the country will grow, the system will update, and we can mark as a quality aspect in for our country. So thanks to the team, organizing team, and the panelists who has sharing their valuable inputs. It's really great to me also. I had learned a lot of the this activity in this event also. So can you now, sir, give me the permission to share my PPT?
Rajesh ji, before that, I'd like to introduce you to the audience, because
Okay.
you, no doubt, you are a very well-known person in this academic community. But still, some people might be there from the different community. They might like to know more about you. So, Aarti, please, can you show the profile of Mr. Rajesh Deshwal? Yeah. So, uh, Rajesh Deshwal ji is CEO, presently the CEO of the MTech Calibration, which is the one of the best lab in the North India in the calibration testing facilities. He is also the executive member of the Indian Association of the Indian Laboratories. Basically, he is a BTech person and having around 25 years of experience and running this business of MTech calibration since 2003. He is also this Secretary General to the AOL for 4 years, and President, also became the President of the AOL 3 years period, and the member of the presently the Governing Council of the AOL. He also the member in the BIS PGD 25 cell for the last 5 years, and the co-member in the AIC committee of the ILAC. He is also the certified LMS consultant from the KCI. So this is just brief about here, but he is having more valuable things in him. Now let's have his views in to the industry. Yeah, over to Rajesh ji, please.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So you can check. You might be having the share screen button
Yes, yes,
from
I
your
have. I
side, so
have.
you can share your
I
PPT,
have,
please.
sir. So, just a moment. Share screen. It is not showing here. Share. Okay.
Some green color button might be there.
Sir, green color button is there, but just I am sharing with that only. Just give me only 1 minute so that I can check it again. It is showing your pictures, your entire screen.
So
And
you can share
the
it.
permission is granted to share this activity because I am clicking share, it is not coming.
And this is
Permission is there.
permission granted. Permission is there.
So then why it's not coming, sir?
And you are being able to present anything. Your desktop, you just share your desktop, then you can share the PPT, whatever you want to share.
No, I had already opened the PPT, sir.
Okay.
I had already opened in a separately the PPT is open. So
Mhm.
it It should be shared. That's why I am seeing.
Uh,
Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Hello.
Yeah, put it into the presentation mode, please.
From where? It is not showing with the screen with all of you.
We are getting your PowerPoint, but not in the presentation mode. So you just click on the presentation button at the top bottom right side,
Just a moment.
or you can put the slideshow from the
You
menu.
are sharing here.
So you can press F5 from your keyboard, F5.
F5.
Yeah.
Okay, just a moment. F5. It is okay?
No,
Huh?
not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Yes.
Why it is not coming?
No, at the bottom of the right side, you see the some glass symbol was be there. Just click on that.
Bottom of the right side. Now it is more
Yes,
setting. There are option. Which option you are asking?
just like a glass symbol before the this zoom in, zoom out. Just before that, I can see in your screen that symbol is there.
Zoom in, zoom out.
The 83% is written at the bottom right side in your screen. 83%.
No, I am
These
not seeing.
symbols are exactly depth of your minus sign in zoom in, zoom out option.
जूम इन जूम आउट ऑप्शन है ना आपका, उसमें देखिए आपका जो प्रेजेंटेशन जो दिख रहा है ना, उसमें राइट साइड में नीचे की तरफ 83% लिखा है ना, 83% लिखा है।
Yes.
हाँ, तो उसके उसके लेफ्ट, थोड़ा सा लेफ्ट में आइए, थोड़ा सा और लेफ्ट में एक ये ग्लास जैसा बना है ना, इसी को क्लिक कर दीजिए।
Perfect.
बस
Okay,
बिल्कुल
this
इधर
one
ही।
ना?
हाँ, यस
Okay.
करेक्ट।
Correct.
वेलकम।
Thank you, friends, for giving me one more input.
अभी भी शुरू नहीं हुआ है सर, प्रेजेंटेशन मोड में अभी नहीं आया है।
हाँ?
आपने अभी क्लिक किया ना आपने,
हाँ?
अभी प्रेजेंटेशन मोड में नहीं आया है। आई थिंक इट इज टेकिंग सम टाइम। दोबारा शेयर करके दोबारा से शेयर करके कीजिए जरा।
Stop sharing.
हाँ, स्टॉप शेयरिंग करके दोबारा से शेयर कीजिए और क्लिक कीजिए।
Just a moment. So I had stopped it right now from screen. I have to share screen. Window. Correct. Share. Now it
अभी
is okay.
दोबारा
Okay.
फर्स्ट स्लाइड आ रहा है, अभी अभी प्रेजेंटेशन मोड में नहीं आया। दोबारा क्लिक कीजिए वहीं पे।
कर दिया सर?
अभी नहीं आया।
So I can do face to face. There is not an issue. It is
नहीं, ठीक है, जो चल रहा है फिर चलने दीजिए। नहीं हो पा रहा है तो
Let us continue. चलेगा सर, ये मोड चलेगा। Let us
चलिए,
continue.
ठीक है। बड़ा है आपका, पहले दूसरा स्लाइड दिख रहा था, अभी दूसरा स्लाइड दिख रहा है। एनीवे, चलिए एसी पे चालू कीजिए प्लीज।
okay, sir. So as as concern of Association of Indian Laboratory, we had already seen in our country there was no association for especially for the laboratory community. So we had think why our community should not present in the country, so that we can just take care of welfare of the laboratory community. At in December 2014, Association of Indian Laboratory has been formed, and the official launch was on 19 April 2015. Where you are the glimpses here. to see the launch of AOIL. AOIL is representing the laboratory sector as given below: calibration laboratory, testing laboratory, medical laboratory, and GLP laboratories. And this is there is a tenure of 2 years for, and there is open election in our association. A member, first the condition who will be the member, the person who is having a laboratory can only be the member in this association. A trader, say manufacturer, cannot be the part of this association. This is the guideline in our bylaws. So every 2 years just we are going for election, and the governing body is there to take all the decisions. What is the objective of AOIL? Objective of the association are scientific, educational, and charitable in nature, so as to serve the interests of the laboratory with focus given below, to promote corporate efforts to identify common problems faced by the by the
राजेश जी
member
सॉरी,
laboratory.
राजेश जी
Yes,
सॉरी, आई थिंक आपका अनशेयर हो गया है, दोबारा से शेयर कर दीजिए प्लीज।
unshare हो गया.
हाँ, आई थिंक अनशेयर हो गया है, शेयर कर दीजिए।
Just a moment, I will check. Sir, I had already done. Why it is going again? Now it is visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. The objective of the association is to promote cooperative efforts to identify common problems. It's not the particular things ki a person is saying, oh, my laboratory is suspended by AB or like this. No. The common problem faced by the member laboratory and arrive at possible solutions. To maintain lies in relationship with technical and scientific associations, accreditation bodies of the country, and laboratory associations having common interests worldwide, to assist and provide required inputs to the central government authorities and state authorities, private and public sector organization in developing the policies related to the laboratories, to maintain the highest standard of professional and ethical conduct in laboratory in general and among its member in particular, to facilitate inter-laboratory comparison, PT and training activity among its member with a very economical prices, to improve to empowering the member laboratories in improving enhance their quality of calibration and or testing services. So every year on 19th of April, we are celebrating Laboratory Congress. So this is the glimpse of second Laboratory Congress. This is for third Laboratory Congress. This is for fourth Laboratory Congress during COVID, when the physical activity was not allowed. So this is the fifth Laboratory Congress at Vizag.
सॉरी राजेश जी, आपका सिर्फ एक स्क्रीन नंबर, स्लाइड नंबर 6 डिस्प्ले में आ रहा है, बाकी और आपका सिर्फ स्लाइड नंबर 6 सेकंड कांग्रेस ऑफ लेबोरेटरीज वही डिस्प्ले में है, बाकी डिस्प्ले
So
में
it
नहीं
is
है।
again moving out.
हाँ, मुझे लग रहा है कि शायद वो मूव नहीं कर रहा है।
Just a moment. Can I share you any desk so that you can do it right now?
नहीं, अभी फिफ्थ कांग्रेस का लेबोरेटरीज का आ गया, फिफ्थ कांग्रेस आ गया आपका, फिफ्थ
नहीं,
कांग्रेस ऑफ
मैं कह रहा हूँ तो
लेबोरेटरीज।
वो फर्दर के लिए भी काफी, बिकॉज देयर इज अ बिग सेशन ना, सो इफ यू शेयर मी विद एनी डेस्क हेल्प मी, सो इट विल बी गुड टू मी.
आप बेटर होगा आप मेल कर देंगे तो देन इट विल बी बेटर।
Immediately, sir. I will
हाँ,
close it here immediately and send to you. It is ready with me.
सेम मेल आईडी पे कर दीजिएगा जिस पे।
Yes. Immediately I am doing, sir. Within 2 minutes. 1 minute.
सर मेल किया क्या आपने?
एक मिनट सर, लिंक अभी जस्ट आई हैड सेंड सर, प्लीज चेक. Check sir.
Yeah, I'm checking. I'm refreshing my inbox.
Received sir.
Yeah, just received something.
Through Google Drive it's there.
Through Google Drive.
Yeah, the permission is also granted. It is not showing going from here also. What is the problem? This is the first time I am
Um,
getting these issues. I am putting it here directly. This is the presentation.
Yes. That,
Received?
just received. I'm just opening it.
Okay.
ओनली इसमें 47 स्लाइड्स है. ओनली जो रिलेवेंट स्लाइड्स है आप वो बता दीजिएगा, उस पे मैं स्टॉप कर दूंगा. ठीक है. आई थिंक टाइम काफी हो गया, तो लिमिटेड स्लाइड्स पे ही रखें.
Yes, yes. It will not take so much time because there is a glimpse only for the evidence activity what we are doing.
कौन सा स्लाइड पे करना है मेरे को बताइए. मैं हम्म, हम्म, ठीक है.
Received?
ओके.
So you take the slide directly on 12. So this is the evidences what we are doing. We are celebrating laboratory congress every year. This is the evidence of this year. We had already celebrated 19 April at New Delhi, where the Mr. Chairman QC was the chief guest for this function. And just we are discussing all activities regarding the lab issues and all concerns relevant to ministry as well as accreditation bodies, because association is especially for welfare of laboratory community only. Next up, you put next slide 13 14 15. You go one by one, no issue. This is only glimpse. AWAL is representing Indian laboratory at international level also. Next. So this is the information that we are regularly attending ILEC and APEC meeting. Oh, sorry, ILEC meeting, not APEC meeting, because we are the member in ILEC only. Next. This stop it here, sir. This is a big mission where association was working on that. Before 2020, service sector was not counted by Ministry of MSME. So we did a jointly event with Ministry of MSME, and we had submitted the charter of demand to Ministry. And finally, after this event, the service sector has been added in 2020 Now service industry can avail the same benefit where manufacturing industry were getting. So this is the big achievement where with the help of AOL, all service sector has been catered. So go to the next, sir. This is the same evidences for the same event. Next, sir. Stop, sir. As welfare in nature, association is providing the training programs for the laboratory community as per the requirement of 17025 uncertainty on hand training. So this is the responsibility with the association to deliver the training on very economical rates. And now the pattern physically as well as virtual both are in a mode. The participant can join physically as well as on virtual also. So next, sir. So this is the evidences for trainings. This all trainings we had already implemented. Next, sir. Next. This is all training, sir. You go one by one. That's why I'm saying it will not take more time, sir. Next. So this is again the AGM. During election, as per the norms of society, we are covering the requirement of AGM because our association is registered as a national level. We are covering more than I think 19 or 20, 19 states right now. So this is the letter, or you can say opportunities received by health ministry. AOL has invited during the COVID period also, and we had given our inputs during the COVID time. What how we can just handle these situations? What will be the positive points, negative points? How we utilize our laboratory community in this practice? So this support has been given by AOL, and on behalf of association, I got the opportunity to talk with Prime Minister Shri Modi ji by virtual meeting on 20 on the in 2020. Next, sir. 15 members were invited from the country for video conference with the Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Shri Narendra Modi. Our name was on third number in the list. Next, sir. So this is the glimpse of Ministry of Health. Next. Recently, you are very well aware, the people are who from the laboratory background. Now, NABL has decided to adopt only those laboratory for accreditation center who are registered under ROC only. Now, NABL has stopped the accreditation services to proprietorship and partnership industries. So there were many issues which we had discussed with Chairman QCI. The delegation has sent to QCI and met Secretary General and Chairman G also. And positive signs has been come out. But finally, as per the circular of NABL, the 31st December is the last day to submit the evidences. Sir, we know very well as a international guideline when the standard was in transition from 2005 to 17. ILAC has given 3 years only for transition in standard only. Sir, can we think a laboratory who got accredited from last 18 year or 20 year back with the same legal identity? I am not saying you go or not go. I am saying plus give the time to the industry so that he can do the needful activity. 9 months is not a suitable time to change their legal identity. If I am my company is knowing by MTech or any name, if my name is not available in this activity, what I can do? And there is a lot of inputs required, or you can say financial burden has come on the laboratory. If you shift A to B, you have to sold your asset A to B. Bank is not ready to transfer the your financial liability as OD and term loan. They are saying if you are going for the new one, we require 2-year balance sheet. The laboratory are not able to bid the tender because in every tender there is a requirement of 3-year balance sheet. So there is a big pain with the laboratory community, and I request you people are here so you can give us the guidance. Actual legal identity is not a small thing for a institution. So I believe that NABL will accept this request. We had already shared with them. And finally, what will be the decision? It will come on 1st of Jan, because the last date has been given 31st December. So there is a big panic in the laboratory community. What the decision they should go? Either they should go with the another accreditation body, or either they should change their status. 9 months is very small period. Either if there is a activity they require, they should give the time minimum 3 years to 5 years, so that a laboratory can plan for that, and they can just continue their business, because there will be impact on the employment also. There will be impact. Some people may continue this activity, some people may left also from this business. So it is very panic time. I believe that industries associations should come forward and give the input on that, sir. So why the person will be the member of Association of Indian Laboratory? What is the benefit, sir? It is very much important. Why the person will join? Feeling proud to be a member of AUL, as AUL is only the unique association for welfare of laboratory communities. Support in business growth with a name as trusted supplier certificate issued by AUL. Support for member laboratory for common problem faced through authority or regulatory bodies. Arrangement of training at economic cost. Arrangement of hands-on training practical at economic cost, whereas required opportunity to do business sharing within the members. Policy for employment exchange within the members. Opportunity for arrangement of new employment fresher with institutional center. Opportunity for arrangement of ILAC within the members. Sir, next page. Several benefits during purchasing of equipments and ensuring about after sale service. Sir, we are very well aware, because in a laboratory the cost of instrument is very high, and there are some you can say supplier who had sold the instrument. When we are talking about the after sales service, they are saying, no sir, this model has left out, this model has obsolete right now. So we are ensuring that the service should be delivered after sales also. And when there is a problem occur in the instrument, they are charging very high. Two cases already covered by this AOL. One is for a calibration lab, and one is for testing lab, where the laboratory got a benefit more than 70%, which the cost has been offered by the manufacturer. So AOL is in contact to ensure, to discuss with the supplier to deliver the service within the time frame. Opportunity to attend national and international conference and seminar. Being an AOL member, you can join ILAC meeting and other national meeting also, because AOL is representing in BAS and many other sectors. Opportunity to be trainer as per the expertise. If you are expert, then you can your name can be suggested as a trainer. Opportunity to attend board meeting with ABs, other association and regulatory bodies. Opportunity to know the working culture, other ABs in abroad. When you are going for ILAC meeting, then you can just get the information how other ABs are working in other countries. Opportunity to be a part of new business partner within the member by developing the unique cluster facility to fulfill the requirement of laboratory industry. Now there is a proposal from the Ministry of MSME to put a cluster where the testing or calibration services is not available in the country. That is also an option with the AOL, that AOL can pursue for that also. Presenting the voice of Indian laboratory with ABs if any adverse action has been taken. Providing the opportunity to enhance the business by organizing the conclave or seminar. Next. Ongoing task is with right now AOL is attending national and international meeting regularly, providing the solution to the laboratory community for common cause faced by them. Presenting the voice of Indian laboratory at national and international platform. Issue regarding proprietorship, partnership, company which are not under MOCA, trying to avail or develop the resources where as required by the laboratory community. So this is the current challenges or work which is going with the AOL right now. Next, sir.
Rajesh, can we stick to the agenda? Actually, some slides are other than the agenda thing. So can we please continue only those slides which are related to the agenda.
Sir, actually, we are a association. So, being an association, we are a welfare in nature. What we are doing, we are sharing with you, sir.
No, that is true. The agenda is the quality assurance, responsible assurance, and responsible regulations. If the things because you might be doing so many things, we are not doubting anything, but the agenda is responsible regulation and responsible quality assurance.
Sir, if you talk about AOL members, AOL member are following the ethical practices that is covered by their code of conduct. When a person is going to be the member of Association of Indian Laboratory, he has to sign the code of conduct. And for evidences, if you talk, some audit has been surprise audit has been taken by our accreditation bodies where AOL member are has not found any type of non-conformance, so they are following the ethics. This is the real evidence with our AB right now, sir.
Okay, that's good. So quality assurance things, whatever may be there, if we can be continue with those things only, so please, it's a request.
Sir, right now, you know very well, my physical condition was not well yesterday. So I had already presented those things which is available with me. So there is no special activity for those which you are asking, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Then thank you. Then I'd like to say thank you, Rajeshji, for giving us your time and presenting some major works which AL is doing for the betterment of the laboratory community. And we really appreciate what the AOL is doing. Okay, sir. So thank you and Ankitji, over to you.
Yeah. So let us move ahead with the our last speaker of the day, Dr. Suresh. Ardi, can you share his brief profile so that we can move forward? Maharji, you can stop this screen, sir, so that she can share the screen.
I have already stopped. I've already stopped sharing. And stop. Yeah. Done.
So we welcome Dr. Suresh. So Dr. Suresh is the country director of FSC, that is Forest Stewardship Council, and FSC promotes responsible management of the world's forest. And he is retired from IFS services after having more than 38 years, and he could work positions like Principal Chief Conservator of Forest, Head of Forest Force in Maharashtra, DG of Indian Council of Forestry, Research and Education, Government in India, Additional DG for Wildlife, Government of India, and Managing Director of Forest Development Corporation of Maharashtra. And he has undergone the PG program in Public Policy and Management for IIM Bangalore, and he has completed his PhD in Forest Management. So I will request Dr. Suresh to take the session forward.
Thank you very much. I hope I am audible.
Yeah, audible, sir.
And Patelji, rather than I trying to share the screen and facing the problem which earlier, panelists have faced, if you can run my slides, that will be much faster.
I will.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So first of all, let me thank the host of this event for inviting me for this discussion. And I would very briefly talk on 3 topics because I know we have already overrun the time. First, briefly, I'll tell you about FSC, following which what kind of standards FSC has developed for India specifically. And thirdly, coming to the main theme of this particular session, how do we ensure the integrity and credibility of the certification bodies while doing auditing for FSC certification? If you can load the slides.
Yes, yeah. Just a minute.
Yes. Fine, got it. You can have this in presentation mode.
Yeah.
Fine, thank you very much. Next slide, please. So, as I said, let me briefly talk about my organization, the Forest Stewardship Council. Next slide, please. So FSC was established way back in the year 1994 as a non-profit organization. It is based in Bonn, Germany, but it has got network partners and country offices in large number of countries globally. Basically, we are working for sustainable forest solutions through various sustainability instruments to ensure healthy and resilient forests globally. Next one, please. And our mission is to promote environmentally appropriate, socially beneficial, and economically viable management of world's forests. Very, very important aspect is, unlike general forest management, which is normally environmentally oriented, we also balance social and economical aspects through our membership, which is chamber balance. This is probably one of the distinct features of FSC system, where all three interests, what we call pillars of sustainability, are balanced. Next one, please. So FSC standards protect forests like any other standards. For that matter, even PEFC, I mean, through standards, we try to prevent deforestation and degradation of forests. We fight climate change and biodiversity crisis. We protect rare and endangered species through our instrument, what we call, we try to protect the, specific endemic areas the world over. One of the key features of FSC is protecting the rights of the workers and the indigenous people through our standards. Next one, please. We service through our standards the forest operators through our standards for forest management, group certification, and ecosystem services verification. The companies through our chain of custody certification, and also non-certified retailers through our promotional license. We have got a separate standard for smallholders, which are basically, people involved in agroforestry, farm forestry, outside traditional forest areas. Next one, please. This is the basis of our forest management certification. We have 10 principles, 70 criteria to ensure that all the aspects, as I mentioned earlier, environmental, social, and economic aspects are covered through our principles and criteria. These principles and criteria are uniform the world over. Next one, please. Now, how does our certification system work? So we have various actors. We were talking about conflict of interest. To ensure that there is no conflict of interest and the integrity and credibility of the system is maintained, FSC works with various stakeholders. First and foremost is the Assurance Services International. I'll talk about this organization a little bit later. Then there is certification body, but we also call CAB. There is an organization called ISEAL, which is an apex alliance of certification bodies. I'll briefly talk about ISEAL. And then obviously there are certificate holders. So it's a gamut of independent organizations which work together in FSC certification system. Next one, please. So ISEAL is the organization which ensures credibility of standard development bodies like FSC. So FSC and ASI. ASI is our accreditation body, which is an independent body. We both are members of ISEAL. and we have signed the code of good practices, and we are ISEAL code compliant. So FSC also is overseen by another organization, ISEAL, through its various credibility assurance instruments. And then we develop various standards, as I mentioned earlier, for forest management as well as chain of custody certification. Next one, please. This is the global picture of Forest Stewardship Council. 29 years, we have more than 150 million hectares of forest certified. And it may be pertinent to mention here that this figure was 230 million hectares a few years ago. But because of Russia war and Russia-Ukraine conflict, certain certificates have been currently suspended. So presently, we have more than 150 million hectares of forest certified. We have more than 50,000 chain of custody certifications, and more than 1,600 companies have got promotional licenses. We have presence in 85 countries where we have developed country-specific FSC standards. Next one, please. So coming to India, we have come up with the India-specific forest management certification, and this was released by Honorable Union Minister last year in June. So, we also have got Standard Development Group, which is a body of Indian experts. They deliberate over a long period of time. They have 2 public consultations, ground truthing, and all those aspects of standard development. And at the end of the day, they balance the 3 pillars of sustainability. This particular standard, once developed, is approved by FSC. So all the, of course, criteria are international, but indicators are India specific. So we can say that it is this particular standard caters to India specific forest situations. Next one, please. And we have around 277 indicators, which very clearly mentions that indicates that it's very, very comprehensive. Sometimes it is too cumbersome, but if you have to maintain high level of integrity, assurance, and forest management, system has to be robust. So some of these indicators have been adopted as such from our international what we call international generic indicators, but some have been specifically adopted or drafted afresh for Indian conditions. Next one, please. Catering to smallholders, less than 20 hectares, as I mentioned earlier. I mean, most of the wood in India is coming from trees outside forests. So we have a specific standard for trees outside forests, which caters to agroforestry, farm forestry, roadside plantations, etc., where we have got only around 145 limited indicators. Next one, please. So now coming to ISEAL, as I mentioned, this ISEAL Alliance, which is International Social and Environmental Accreditation and Labeling Alliance, is a global membership organization for credible sustainability standards, and its mission is to strengthen sustainability standard systems based on emerging global consensus. And ISEAL's code of good practices, it supports sustainable sustainability systems. As I mentioned, ASI and FSC both are ISEAL code compliant members, and ISEAL oversees the functioning of its member organizations. Next one, please. Now coming to ASI. So as I mentioned, FSC does not issue certificates itself. So ASI, which is Assurance Services International, is again based in Germany, is FSC's accreditation bodies. So all the certification bodies are accredited by ASI based on the systems developed by FSC. I won't read all this because of paucity of time, but this can definitely be shared. Next slide, please. So ASI has got a very robust process as to how they do accreditation of applicant certification bodies. They have certain key documents related to the accreditation procedure, the approval procedure, then assurance procedure, based on, and then there is oversight procedure. Based on all this scrutiny examination of the application filed by a prospective certification body, ASI accreditates that particular certification body. Next one, please. So ASI will do the accreditation based on the accreditation standards developed by FSC for forest management as well as chain of custody certification. So these are the various standards which ASI will ensure that the prospective or applicant certification body is following before they are actually accredited by ASI. And these documents are all available on FSC website. Next one, please. For example, this is the general requirement for FSC accredited certification body. There are a whole lot of general requirements, specific requirements, etc. Provided in this particular document. Next one, please. So prominently, if we talk of the requirements of the certification body as given in FSC standard, so these have been developed in conformity with ICIL Code of Good Practices. So whatever ICIL prescribes globally for all standard developing bodies like FSC, same standards are prescribed by FSC for the prospective certification bodies. And these standards specifies the accreditation requirement of all certification bodies operating FSC programs. What we can call, the prospective certification body have to enter into contract with Assurance Services International based on these particular requirements. And as I said earlier, then based on these general and other requirements, ASI will do the accreditation process for the applicant CAB. Next one, please. Now, so far as disclosure, of course, this is not a voluntary disclosure on the part of the certification body, but FSC on its own provides some information on the public dashboard on its website. So, one can visit the website and, kind of find all the certificates which have been issued by various certification bodies globally. One can shortlist it in terms of what kind of certificate, whether it is forest management certificate, chain of custody certificate, or control route certificate. Also, country-wise also it can be shortlisted. Like for India, this particular page shows the forest management certifications which are at present approved. And when you click at this particular site, you can always get the details as to how much area which has been the certification body. Next one, please. And also you can get documents which are in public domain. For example, this document is uploaded on the public website, giving the public summary report of the certification process that a CB has done for that particular certificate holder. Next one, please. So now within the FSC system, I mean, as I mentioned, integrity and credibility is something which is, very, very important for FSC. So we have this policy for association. So there are certain aspects, if, which are unacceptable activities. So if any organization is involved in those unacceptable activities, FSC will not associate with those organizations. So these unacceptable activities include illegal harvesting, then violation of customary and human rights, violation of workers' rights and ILO principles, destruction of high conservation value forests, conversion of natural forest cover, and use of genetically modified organisms. So any organization using these unacceptable activities will not get associated with FSC till they remedy these activities. Then we also have this supply chain integrity system, and we try to find out whether there are false claim which are being made. Of course, this is a very, very important aspect, and FSC all the time is trying to improve its system to ensure that there are no false claims which are being made. And then also through our FSC check, we screen the new entrants into our particular system. Next one, please. So traceability, like previous speaker has also mentioned that traceability is something very, very important, and to this effect, we are trying to develop FSC blockchain method, which is a database management system where you can trace the inputs and relate it to the outputs and ensure that whatever entries are being made, they are being made of the genuine FSC certified material in the blockchain. This pilot has already been done, and we are in the process of trying to implement it throughout the world in the coming years. Next one, please. This is what I have already defined. Next one, please. So this blockchain is something very important, which has been tried and tested in a couple of countries, including one country is China, one in South America. Basically, the data is all encrypted, and it's also confidential, and it matches the input with the output to ensure that no false claim enters the system. And it will also help, upcoming regulations like EUDR and also LACI Act and all other, regulations which are in the pipeline. Next one, please. And lastly, we are also into capacity building of the certification bodies. So we interact with the certification bodies as related to, some of their issues. So recently we had a workshop related to core labor requirements, where ASI and FSC jointly held this workshop and had an interactive session with the certification bodies. So I'll end here, and just by concluding that the issue of integrity and credibility of the system and how the CBs are doing the audit for certification is something very, very important. And FSC has developed certain systems, but FSC also knows that those systems may not be foolproof with the advancement in the technology, etc., etc. So we are in a lookout to further strengthen our integrity systems. With this, I'll end, and thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir, for completely guidance about FSC and how you ensure traceability, plus how you develop these standards, and how you, the certification agency, and ultimately how complete supply chain that you are controlling. So we could get insight, including your disclosure from your web portal. You are writing the customer name, the type of certificate they have received. So at least the user or the buyer will have complete traceability from your portal. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you so much for enlightening us about today's topic, responsible assurance practices. Now, I would request all participants, if they are having questions, they can ask. And we have received few questions, so we will ask one by one. But at open forum, if someone wants to ask question, now forum is open for Q&A.
Anybody who wants to ask the question, they can raise their hands. Accordingly, we can unmute them. They can ask the question over. They can come on the video also if they feel so. Meanwhile, I think these chat questions or other questions we can take up. Okay.
Yeah, Mahid, you can ask from that list you received from the participant.
Mm-hmm. The question. Someone was asking Mr. Uday us how to become the member of ACBI is asked by some Mr. Uday. So, Satyaj, you would like to answer to this?
I'll try to answer it. You need to contact Mr. Shashinath Mishra. He was the chairman for ACBI. I think in that way it can be done. In fact, it is an association of the certification bodies. So representatives from the certification bodies are there in this association. But for more details, I think Mr. Shashinath Mishra will be the right person to answer this. So you can contact him and get the inputs from him. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. One more question with respect to Sir CB perspective. One of the participants has asked, means how do you enroll the auditors in the certification bodies? And if I say percentage of full-time auditors and panel auditors, so can you give some insight how these CBs are working?
Okay. See, CBs have their own procedures as well as we follow the 17021 requirements. In addition to the 17021 requirements, CB has their own procedures of the auditor's qualification. So, in fact, auditors undergo a rigorous qualification process in terms of observations. They are not directly put it on, to do an independent audit. They undergo observations, how the audits are carried out, how to conduct an opening meeting, closing meeting, how the communication, how to investigate, report writing, everything has been looked into the observation. Then there is a qualification process. It's a two-level process where the auditor qualification is there, then the team leader qualification. So that is about the auditor qualification. And apart from this, we also have the qualification process in terms of the competence, whether the auditor has a required core competence in terms of the particular sector, like if it is a food, whether it is oil and gas, whether it is nutra, whichever field it is, whichever standard it is, that competence is also looked into. Maybe through some CBs have a question paper, some have a interview method, it could be the work experience, so that all that combination has been looked into to see whether the auditor is competent, and the qualification goes with the observations and the witness has been done, and based on the witness then the auditor is qualified whether he can do an independent audit. And coming to your next question, whether it is the how much percentage is the full time and the freelancers, um, it all depends upon the volume of the clients, how much clients the organization has it. So maybe it is sometimes 50-50%, or it could be in some CBs it could be more of a freelancers, because they are completely dependent upon the freelancers. And some CBs they have it like they have more of 70% full timers but 30% freelancers. So it depends upon CB to CB, upon the clientele, how much clientele they have it for that particular standard or the product which they have it.
Yes. And see, what could be the control from ACBI perspective for the freelancers to the CBs? Is there any guideline, code of conduct kind of a thing that those freelancers have to agree upon?
So if you talk from an ACBI perspective, I don't know whether I will be able to answer it, but from a CB perspective, the code of conduct is there. Every CB will have a code of conduct, and whether it is a full timer or a freelancer, everyone has to sign the the COI, the conflict of interest, or the declaration for impartiality, or the code of conduct. They need to see that they respect the CB's procedures and they follow the same. So that has been taken care of from every CB point of view.
Okay.
So that's the point.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maharji, any question you have received from participant? Your mic is on mute, Maharji.
Yeah. Satyaji, these are the this ACBI is the association. If association we talk about how association matlab, make the possible code of ethics control over their members or their for implementation of their quality assurance practices, other things.
Yeah, in terms of it's like that, like though the declaration has been signed from each auditor, whether it is a full-time or a freelancer, we also have a continuous peer assessment or a witness which we carry out. We also get feedback from our clients. So based on that, the control is there, whether how ethically or the review of the reports, based on that, we have a proper checks. So every CB have its own procedure. So these are the generic ones, which the CB has a control on how, especially the freelancers. I think you are more particularly talking about the freelancers, right? So how the so it is not only the freelancers, even the full timers is also equally important to follow the code of conduct and to be impartial in terms of conduct when doing the audit.
Right.
One of the question Mr. Saktivel has asked, and it has been answered. So I'm just discussing that question: that how far FSC certification will help small and medium scale industries. For an example, paper bag manufacturing.
Yeah, so I have already answered it, and we do have this chain of custody certification. And in India, last 2 years, it has been picking up very fast. But there are certain constraints, particularly for small industries, as the person who has raised the question has mentioned. So for any chain of custody certification, we do need forest management certification or forest certified source material. So you can't have a chain of custody without ensuring that the material is coming from a certified forest. Now in India, as I mentioned during my talk, most of the wood is coming from non-forest areas, because natural forests basically are being used for ecosystem services and all those things. So outside natural forests, the plantations are very small. So the average land holding in India is 1.08 hectares. Out of that, major part of it is being used for agriculture. So the trees are being grown as a security generally for bad days. So for these people to get certified is a very cumbersome task. So we are looking for what we call group entities, like paper companies like ITC and all. They function like group entities, and they have large number of individual smallholders which kind of subscribe to these group entities. And then there is only one FM certificate that is issued to the group entity. So that is the solution. But still the problem is that group entities are not coming forward for certification. So the market is picking up for COC certification, but there are certain issues which we are trying to address. And government is also kind of promoting sustainable use of wood. In fact, a committee formed by Ministry of Commerce has recommended that this FSC certification should be kind of promoted by Government of India, and more certified wood should be available in Indian market. So, I mean, when the situation moves towards improvement, the problems of small, wood workers will be addressed.
Okay.
Just Sureshji, this voluntary disclosure. So you in your organization, in your this FSC or ASI, you'd like to give a light to this, whether the need of this voluntary disclosure and how it can be taken up.
So, you mentioned about voluntary disclosure by the certification bodies. And, before this talk, I also contacted some of the certification bodies, whether they are doing some, because voluntary, as Mr. Gupta mentioned, is voluntary. Law doesn't require it, but you yourself are doing it. So I've been given to understand that there is no voluntary disclosure which is being followed by the certification bodies. I'm talking about FSC accredited certification bodies, not CBs in general. But also, the system of ASI, while giving accreditation to the certification bodies is very robust. So there is a slide which, because of paucity of time, I didn't go through it. So they have, annual surveillance audit and also surprise checks of the certification bodies to ensure that they are adhering to the ethics and to the agreement which they have signed with ASI. So though there is no voluntary disclosure from the certification bodies, but the system itself is pretty robust.
Okay. No, you may be right the way you think. I'm just saying, just like, for example, Maruti or any car manufacturer, they voluntarily disclose that there is some problem in particular part. They recall it and fit it and get it to back. Some kind of thing. Do you think there is a need of in your FSC system regime and this ASI certification kind of thing?
Right. I got your point. So I mean, the answer lies in the statement I made just now. ASI does surprise checks, and let me tell you that there have been cases where when ASI has conducted, what we call transaction verification, some of the CVs were found wanting, and their recognition has been suspended by ASI till they improve their particular system. And they have been given show cause and all those things. Entire, law of natural justice has been followed. So as I said, the system is in place in terms of keeping a check both by ASI and also by FSC on the CVs. But on the part of CVs on their own, to the best of my knowledge, they are not making any voluntary disclosures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ankit, then can we go ahead, anything else, or can we go ahead for the group photo and ask?
Yes. So there is no question left. So let us request Mr. Rajesh ji. They can switch on the video. We can have a group pic, and then we can conclude.
Rajesh, can you come on the video, please? And thank you all for giving your precious time and to give the light on the subject in your expert domain. And we are really grateful to all you guys. And I think two people, Mr. Singh and Mr. Rana has left.
Yeah, he has texted me. So they have some work, so they have left.
Okay, I think Mrs. Rajesh is not online. So,
no worries. After you can take the pic, and then we can conclude. Okay. Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you, Suresh sir. Thank you, Satish ji. Thank you, Rajesh ji, for giving us your valuable time. Thank you all participants for carefully listening of what all speaker has enlightened us about the responsible regulations and responsible assurance practices. So thank you very much and goodbye.
And hope to see you in some other platform on the benefit of this community. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank
you. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, the photo was taken.